Hi, I'm Shalabh Upadhyay. First of all, I wanted to thank the organizers of AI for IA for organizing this conference, bringing all the esteemed panelists to talk about the various reasons why access to information is important for all. I'm also the founder and editor-in-chief of Nuge. We're one of India's largest and fastest growing digital tech media companies. The reason we're here today is because we want to discuss artificial intelligence and its ramifications when it comes to journalism, storytelling, and the wider society. Journalism's role in society has evolved as the realities of our society or of our times have changed. Journalism used to be just a printed medium to start with, where I believe the first newspapers were delivered by horses across the United States. From there on, we've gone into printed mediums. We had the advent of radio come into our lives, which moved on to television, and now we are in the world of the internet. So journalism has always evolved to use various means of communication as tools to fit a larger objective, which is the value creation in society. One of the key aspects of journalism has always been the access to information. When we talk about pre-2000s or pre-1990s, information was always finite. There wasn't access to information for everyone, which meant that journalism organization and journalists specialized in being able to access all kinds of information. The second aspect of journalism that was key was being able to break news first. So journalists across the world would look at their entire job was to look at news, was to look at information and see that they were the first ones to be able to get information across to their audiences. Another aspect of journalism that was unique before the advent of internet was the ability to communicate to the masses directly. However, in the past 20 years, at least, since the advent of internet and social giants, these key aspects of journalism have come into conflict, because now no longer do you need journalists to be able to communicate to the masses. Mass communication is at the cornerstone of most social platforms, where as an individual, you have the ability to communicate directly with whoever else wants to listen to you. Another aspect, which was breaking news first. Now, people who broke news or who were decision makers are going directly to the masses and actually sidestepping a lot of journalism organizations. So now, while news stories are broken on TV channels, very rarely are they ever broken on newspapers. Very rarely are they broken over radio. Television, yes, but most often than not, news is first broken on a social platform. The third aspect that we're talking about, which is access to information, which again used to be a specialty of journalists. I think over the last 20 years, we've realized that while we have reached a point where there is a surplus of information, I don't know if all of us feel that much more knowledgeable. The internet is a new phenomena. If you consider it as an industry, it's only 20 years old, right? For an industry that's infancy. It's not that fake news didn't exist before. Fake news is essentially propaganda, because news is storytelling. And wherever you've got information being passed, there's always been manipulation of information, whether by state actors, by individuals, by corporations. It's existed as long as information and journalism has existed itself. So I wouldn't necessarily say fake news is a new phenomena or is a phenomena of the internet. I think fake news is to be seen as a problem right now, but I believe that it's a problem that is a problem for our generation. I do not believe that 10 years later that we will be having the same conversation regarding fake news. We're talking about a transition from a non-digital society to a digital society within the last 25 years. Where I believe the real challenge lies is not necessarily just to address fake news, is to look at news and understand what the role of journalists is going to be moving forward in our society. If you look at the three key aspects that journalism represented that I spoke about earlier. I believe artificial intelligence, like any tool, will be used for good and will be used for bad. Finally, nuclear technology was used both to make a bomb and now to fuel cities. And I'm sure there are individuals or institutions that are using artificial intelligence right now to proliferate fake news. But similarly, I'm also confident, and I know that for a fact because we do that at Nuge as well, where we use AI to look at how can we better access information, how can we streamline the flow of information so that we can present that to the audience better. So I believe the role of artificial intelligence isn't just to look at fake news or how information will be manipulated in the days and years to come. I think the real opportunity for journalists or aspiring journalists is to really adopt and understand these new technologies that are coming through, understand them both from a technical perspective as well as on what those technologies can do in their own domain of whatever their journalistic or journalism beat might be. And really to start to use these technologies and figure out what the future of journalism looks like. Journalism in 2035 is not going to look what journalism looks today. So at some point, it is the people who are working right now, especially young journalists, who have to think about these technologies, who have to make these technologies a part of their arsenal, who have to then keep experimenting with these technologies and see what exactly is it that's adding the most utility in society. I'm sure artificial intelligence would be, if not 10 times, at least 100 times more complicated in 10 years. But so is going to be our ability to use those tools. And I think if we want to live in a world where journalists continue to represent the fourth estate, where journalism continues to be the voice of credibility, where we want certain challenges to be highlighted to the rest of the society. And as a journalist myself, I do believe that we as a profession need to continue to exist and continue to add value to society. But in a world where our everyday life is going to be defined by technology more and more, we as journalists need to understand technology better. Whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's machine learning, whether it's virtual reality, just to be able to understand data, right? I think the real challenge and the real opportunity for journalism is actually to recreate itself, to arm itself with more potent tools that can highlight, that can propagate information better, and to really figure out where journalism in a technologically driven society fits in. And yes, fake news is an aspect that currently is on everyone's mind and everyone talks about it. But I don't believe that we will be talking about fake news 15 years from today. I think what we will be talking about is how journalism has evolved, has molded itself and armed itself with these new tools, whether you call it artificial intelligence, whether you call virtual reality or any of these things, and how it has found a whole different value addition to society in the coming years. And I would, as my last point to conclude, I would urge individuals, young students who may have never thought of journalism as a profession to consider it. For aspiring journalists to be bold and to learn technology, to understand technology. It's one thing to talk about it, it's another to actually understand how it works. And until we understand how technology works, what exactly is artificial intelligence, what is the difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence, or how does virtual reality come into play? Until we do that, we're not going to be able to take journalism in the direction that it needs to. We have to make technology a tool that is going to work to our advantage and not be in fear of it. Thank you so much for having me on this panel. I do wish everyone very safe rest of the year, and I hope that everyone stays safe. And thank you again for the organizers for inviting me to this conference. Thank you.